All right, so thank you for watching. For this wreath kit, we're going to be assembling the one for the Hello Summer sign. So it's going to look like that. So you'll have, in your kit, you'll have a bag with the sign and ribbon. You'll have a wreath form with colored pipe cleaners and 2 bags of mesh, one saying inside or inner and one being outer mesh. That is going to dictate where you're going to be putting the mesh on. So anytime when you're talking about the wreath form and the pipe cleaner does not touch this outer bar, it is considered an inner mesh. So this purple here is outer. This is yellow is also outer. This one is inner and inner. So that's just a little terminology. The mesh is cut in different lengths to know where to put it. If this is your first time making a wreath, I would advise starting with the outer. The reason for that is it is a little bit easier to, I apologize, I'm going to shake the camera a little bit, to work with because it's a little longer. So your mesh may be rolled up into all the same color, or it may be all 4 colors rolled together. So, but doesn't matter. You're going to work with the natural curl of the mesh. It already wants to roll in naturally this way, so we're going to work with that. So you're going to start by folding in or kind of rolling down that outside, that cut edge. There's always going to be shedding to your mesh, and so this just kind of helps push those cut edges under. And then you're going to take steps across your table to get to the other side and kind of gathering the mesh as you go. Once you reach the other side, you're going to kind of fold down that side as well and pinch it together. I like to flip it over, and so that way I can put those cut edges roll them as far into the center as possible. Then I'm going to bring my wreath form out. This is the longer mesh, so this is going to be one of my outer, is where I'm starting. So I find it open pink, and I lay this in between the pipe cleaner. Then I'm going to basically pull it a little taut and twist once, okay? We are going to put ribbon on top of this, and at that point, we'll take the pipe cleaners and bring them to the back side of the wreath, okay? So I'm going to move to the next color, which happens to be yellow. So again, I'm going to fold down that cut edge, and I'm going to take big steps across to the other side. Once I get to the other side, I'm going to roll that cut edge under, and again, I'm trying to put those 2 cut edges in the center of my gathering of mesh. You can readjust it. If you don't like the way you gathered it, you can always release it and try again. Mesh is forgiving. You can work with it several times before it actually begins to form a shape. Again, I'm putting that into the open pipe cleaner, pulling tight and twisting once. Sorry, I have some tools on the table that are getting caught up in the wire form. Okay, next we're going to go with purple, and then we'll do green. And then I'm just going to continue that process and add all the mesh on, and I will fast forward the video at that time. So again, folding in that cut edge, steps across, and the process is always all the same, and all we're doing is adding it to the color associated, with the coordinating pipe cleaner. So, all right, so I'm going to go ahead at this point, and I'm going to kind of fast forward this video. As I continued this repetitive process of adding the mesh. And actually, I'm going to do one more I'm going to add one of the smaller mesh just so you can see the difference real quick, and then I will fast forward the video. And you can pause it to watch and stay caught up. Okay, so with the smaller, it's a little shorter. So all I'm doing is, again, still folding in that cut edge. I don't have as many steps to take till I get to the other side. And so I'm going to try and tuck those in as much as possible. You will always see some of the cut edge. It's just we're trying to minimize the amount you see. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to fast forward and continue adding all this mesh. And then I'll come back and we'll go to the next steps. Okay, so we have all of our mesh onto our a wire frame. So we're gonna now add the ribbon. So I'm gonna move this out of the way and kind of demonstrate the ribbon for you. So in your packet, you'll have these ribbon. So you have 4 of this pink, 4 of this pink, 4 of this green, as well as this green plaid. You have 4 of this feathered lavender, along with the iridescent lavender. You have 4 of this canvas turquoise that I'm going to pair with this. And then I have 5 of each of these 2 items. So I have 5 of the iridescent yellows and the 5 of the daisies with the bumblebees. So I paired them up this way. You're certainly welcome to pair them up any way you want. Some people will come to the classes and they'll actually completely mix and match the colors and put, you know, the yellow and the green together. So this is up to you. This is your project. You do it the way you would like to do it. But I'm going to show you how I designed it in mind, and in case you want to do it that way. So I'm going to start with this one. Because there's 5 of them, I want them to kind of be center stage. And so what I'm going to do, bring my wreath form back in. I'm going to think about this kind of as in relation to a clock. And you know, it doesn't have to be perfect this way, but I was thinking, you know, I'd have one up at the top around 12, then, you know, somewhere around 2 to 3, somewhere around 5 o'clock, somewhere around 7, and then again, somewhere around 10. And you want to kind of alternate between putting these ribbons on the inside and outside. So you're not going to put all yellows on yellow or anything like that. You're going to kind of mix it up. And so one thing you do want to pay attention to is the direction of ribbon. Some ribbon has a definitive pattern to it, or direction, I should say. So for example, this butterfly and bee one, you definitely have the butterfly all going, you want it to all go the same direction. So when you're putting that on your wreath, you do want to pay attention that you're not doing them, you know, some this way, some this way. If you do, you can always swap it, but it's usually better just to keep that in mind when you're putting it on. And again, I don't think that's as obvious of a direction. And this one definitely doesn't truly have a direction because you have some bees going down, some going up. But you might want to pay attention to how you place them. That being said, here's how we put our ribbon on. Now, I mentioned before, I believe, that on every piece of mesh within the pipe cleaners, we're going to add 2 pieces of ribbon. So there's 21 pieces of mesh on here. So we're going to do 21, basically 42 ribbon, but 2 per opening. So you're going to kind of gather the ribbon kind of like we did with the mesh. We're just going to do a couple pinches. And then you're going to do the same with the second one. You're going to crisscross them or make it form an X with them. It doesn't have to be perfect, and it doesn't matter which one's on top. But I do like making this because it just saves you a step. You can certainly put them on top of one another, and once they're attached, then you have to kind of crank them out. I do feel that they stay a little bit more separated when you do this. So I'm going to bring my reform in, and I'm going to start with putting one on the inside. And all I'm doing is taking that and twisting. And then I'm going to feed those pipe cleaners to the back side of my wreath. And this way, it's going to help in the long run of knowing where you have holes, because you'll see where it's tied off in the back. But also, you'll eventually kind of finish off the back of the wreath. So I'm going to go ahead and twist this 2 times. I don't twist it off all the way, only because I might decide to move things around as I'm adding my ribbons. So I've got this one. If I say that's at the top, I kind of want to go back this way. So somewhere over in this vicinity. So again, I like to use the table to help me, but you certainly can do it in your hands. Okay. So my choices are here. I could do on this pink one. I actually think I'm going to let's see. Yep, I'm probably going to put on this pink one here. So I'm going to flip this over again. Okay. Now one thing, this pink one is on one of these ones that are solely on the outside. It didn't actually come across to the inside. So we want to make sure when we're tying this off that we pull the pipe cleaner to a second bar. So we always kind of want the pipe cleaners to span 2 bars. And the reason why is it helps it stay flush to the front. Because watch, if you notice, if I tied it off here, it could have a tendency to roll to the back. But by pulling it in, it really gets it so it stays the front. And then I'm going to twist a couple times. Okay. I'm probably not going to keep flipping it over just because the video gets kind of, it loses focus and things. So I'm going to gather my ribbon. And if I haven't mentioned already, the mesh and the ribbon grab onto everything. So you do want to give yourself some ample room to work with. So now at this point, I'm going to do a second one on the inside. And then the other 2 will be on the outside. Okay. So I kind of want to divide, so I've got the last 2 here, so I kind of want to do the other 2 in this vicinity. So I'll probably do one on this yellow here. And then I'll probably do another on the last one on the pink there. And again, it doesn't matter that it's, the pink goes, the yellows with the pink. It all looks really cool on the finished product. But again, if you want to do it a different way, by all means, make it yours, because this is a creative process and all creative minds are not alike, and it all turns out really cool. And I love seeing variations. Okay, so we're gonna get this one, and we're gonna go on this pink right here. After I get this one on, I'm then going to take one of each set. And then I'm going to work around and start adding them that way. Okay. So, I'm going to move this out of the way just so I can bring these in. So I'm taking one of these, one of the pinks, one of the greens, and one of the purples. Okay, so the way I'm going to do is I'm going to then just grab an area and start adding the ribbon in and start making my way around the wreath. But you could also do it in that if you would rather, you can go ahead and pick maybe your next favorite ribbon pattern and add that around your wreath. Go to the next one. It's really up to you what makes the most sense to you to add the ribbon in. So, but I'm going to continue with that process of crisscrossing and pinching. So now I want to think kind of about what's considered. Now I need to pay attention to direction. So, because this pattern does have an absolute direction. So I think I'm going to start with putting it right here. Because I was kind of envisioning this to be my top and this to be my bottom. It may not be exactly that when I go to put my sign on, but that's kind of what I'm envisioning at the moment. And sometimes these pipe cleaners can be stubborn, and this one is being stubborn to me right now. Oh my goodness. There. Okay. And so now I'm going to probably do this little green. Add this one in, and the nice thing is do that right here. And you'll tweak the ribbon a few more times before we're done, so do not worry about it if it's kind of clumped together. You don't feel like it's being shown, any of that. I'm going to go for pink. And I'm just going to grab the next open. I'm kind of working my way this way. And you can always check to make sure you're doing, I will flip it over. You can kind of make sure that you're catching them all, just because you'll start to see these in the back. So I just keep working my way around this way. So my next one, I have this yellow here and this green. Okay, so now I've got the other four colors, different styles of ribbon on. I'm going to switch. I'm not going to switch. I'm now going to grab 4 more. But I'm kind of trying to pay attention to what's on the inside. So again, I'm going to grab a green, the lavender, the pink, and the turquoise. Now, this was kind of the first one I put on, so that's kind of going to be the next one I put on. So I'm going to kind of use that as a rule of thumb. So again, I'm kind of paying attention to my direction of my butterflies. So I'm going to go and put it right here. And I'm just going to make my way around continue to make my way around the wreath doing this. Now, I will speed up this video so that you can work at your own pace and pause when you need to. If you want to see exactly where I put the ribbon, but I would recommend having fun with it and enjoying it and make it your own.